Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nonabila Husna binti Remy. I'm from Department of Physics, Faculty of Science. Today, I would like to show you my explanation video about a series RC circuit, the charging and discharging capacitor. An RC circuit is a circuit containing resistance and capacitance. As presented in capacitance, the capacitor is an electrical component that stores electric charge, storing energy in an electric field. Page 1. The voltage of a charging capacitor. As we have learned before, the equation for voltage versus time when charging a capacitor C through a resistor R is as shown here, where V is the voltage across the capacitor and V0 is equal to the EMF of the DC voltage source. How long does it take to charge a capacitor? It is safe to say that the time it takes for a capacitor to charge up to the supply voltage is 5 time constant. To calculate the time constant of a capacitor, the formula is torque equal to RC. It takes a capacitor to charge to 63% of the voltage that is charging it up. After 5 time constants, the capacitor will charge to over 99% of the voltage that is applying. 1 time constant is equal to 120 times 10 to the power of 3 ohms multiplied with 470 times 10 to the power of negative 6 farad, and we get 56.4 seconds. As we use 5 time constant, we multiply 5 to 56.4 seconds and we get 282 seconds. Then we substitute the value of T, which is 282 seconds, the value of V0, which is 20 volt, the value of R, which is the value of C. Then we calculate it. We can see that the capacitor voltage increases exponentially. The voltage finally develops across the capacitor after the capacitor is fully charged. The value of V that we obtain is 19.87 volt. Next page, voltage of a discharging capacitor. For the voltage of a discharging capacitor, the equation for voltage versus time when discharging a capacitor is as shown here. The time it takes for a capacitor to discharge is 5 time constant. After 5 time constant, the capacitor will discharge to almost 0% of all its voltage. We substitute the value of T, which is 282 seconds, the value of V0, which is 20 volt, the value of R, and the value of C. Then we calculate it. We can see that the capacitor voltage reached exponentially to 0 from its initial value during discharging, and the value of voltage that we get is 0.13 volt. Next, current of both the charging and discharging capacitor. Both the charging and discharging have the same equation, which are this equation. For the charging process, we substitute the value of T, which is 282 seconds, the value of I0. I0 is equal to V0 over R, and we get 170 microampere, the value of R, and the value of C. Then we calculate it and get a graph like this. It same goes with the discharging process, as it will decrease exponentially too. The value of current that we obtain is 1.15 microampere. Last but not least, we can conclude that when the capacitor is discharged through a resistor, the voltage across the capacitor and the charge on the capacitor decrease exponentially. When the capacitor is charged through a resistor, the voltage exponentially rises. The charging current asymptotically approaches zero as the capacitor becomes charged up to the battery voltage. Hence, the capacitor current exponentially reaches zero from its initial value. So, that's all from me. Thank you.